Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This episode I'm going to cover an abandoned building in Newcastle. This is the Ryder and Yates design Salvation Army building on City Road. Really interesting, again, a modern design, trying to go for that sort of modernism within Tyne and Weir. Sort of theme I'm exploring at these sort of videos at the minute, so yeah, come along and we'll explore it. This week's video is on the Men's Social Service Centre on City Road. This building was constructed in 1974 and was designed by Ryder and Yates. It's Grade 2 listed, and this is due to the following reasons. It's a significant welfare building with a highly distinctive character, incorporating several distinctive features. This is from Historic England's listing. So Ryder and Yates was a very influential architectural practice in the North East following the Second World War. The work they produced followed often the sort of work at the time of Le Corbusier, as one of the associates was a close friend of Le Corbusier. So this sort of had a link in of, if you don't know who Le Corbusier he is, one of the most influential sort of architects of brutalism and modernism. So this Men's Social Service Centre, as it's called, replaced the Men's Palace. This was a previous hostel that had been demolished for an office development. This new hostel had a curved linear building designed in brindle bricks, and this sat on sort of a commanding post on alongside the 17th century Keelmans hospital. So 2 blocks form this development, one to the south fronting City Road and one to the north that's separated. A single story building to the rear which housed sort of service accommodation and a lot of like servicing area, and to the front or to the south is a 3-story building which covers the sort of principal accommodation at the time. This had bedrooms on the ground and second floors and communal rooms on the first. This housed 184 men in dormitories and other small rooms, and there were also day rooms, a restaurant and facilities for the elderly, as well as a small hospital. So one of the interesting things is the carefully arranged fenestration along this was designed for maximum flexibility in the plan. So these 3-bedroom units could be formed from 2 if required. This sort of arrangement of windows was punctuated at first floor level by a glass oriel window which led into the dining room, and this is the sort of thing you can see projecting out now. So one of the most interesting parts of this feature of this whole building is the curved entrance ramp and curved canopy that sort of juts out from the building and really symbolises the style of the time period. This is sort of a boomerang shaped canopy and it was like held upon these thin steel columns. Because the levels of the site is quite mixed at the back, I think there's a bridge that connects the service accommodation into the main building. I'll try and show a little glimpse of this now, but you can't get round to this rear bit, it's all completely gated off. This site is now completely abandoned. Has been abandoned for some while. I think it's up for sale currently alongside the Keelmans hospital. Both are owned by Newcastle City Council and are up for sale. So this blue brindle brick that's used on the exterior was not only used for the exterior cladding, but it's actually also used internally. And the full height narrow strip windows were formed from steel and had bright green sliding shutters to give the unity to the facade that other curtain devices that cannot provide. So yeah, the exterior of this building is really quite striking, and I think the fact it stands next to the Keelmans Hospital, a very historic building on Newcastle's quayside, really helps it stand out. And it doesn't, whilst being such a modern building next to such historic, it doesn't stand out badly. It respects the height of the Keelmans Hospital, it doesn't try and go much higher than that, and it doesn't feel imposing next to this. It almost feels like something that flows together as a street scene, which if you look towards some of the more modern developments down City Road, some of the student flats and some of the apartments, they jut up a lot higher than this sort of flowing streetscape. So a little bit about Ryder and Yates, as I'm going to cover them and a lot of their other work that still remains in Newcastle in some future videos. So Peter Yates met Gordon Ryder whilst working for Berthold Lubenkind on the master plan team at Peterlee. So Peterlee was a new town built. So in 1953 these two met again by chance, and Gordon persuaded Peter to move to Newcastle upon Tyne, where they formed an architectural practice. So this was Ryder and Yates therefore forming. The company's groundbreaking approach of multidisciplinary practice included engineers, and this underpinned the success from an early stage. So Ryder and Yates' early work included exhibition stand design, shop fronts, and a number of domestic architectural commissions for private clients, industrial commissions for organisations such as British Gas, Sterling Organics, and others ensued. Social consciousness was also included in a lot of projects, which is why they did a lot of work with Salvation Army in the North East, as well as a large social housing project in Kenton, which majority still stands today. And the building design often flowed around as a core concept of making it be its simplest form. Sculptural aspects were used to a functional feature as a thing of joy and beauty. So a lot of their work follows sort of modernist principles and sort of went for simplicity of design and structure, which was sort of the concept at the time. And these are just really interesting buildings, but a lot of them have been lost in Newcastle in a minute. And it's very interesting with this site going up for sale alongside the Keelmans Hospital. Two buildings within Newcastle have been abandoned for a long period of time. So it'll be very interesting to see what any speculative buyer is going to do with this, or what they're going to turn these two sites into. But yeah, thanks for watching.